thank Leona. She worked like heck today.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Poor Glenn got stuck with the same woman's cooking again.
He looks like he's suffering.
Thank Blair for roast, and Chris helped organize getting the hall. Kids went and got groceries yesterday, so worked out pretty good. Jolene wants to read a poem. We wrote one years ago for Mom and Dad's 40th. And we did not the 50th, and we thought we should add to it, so we did. And then where I quit, she said, well, all the kids that didn't have any offspring had to be included, so we had to make some more verses. She figured Chris had some importance. So we had to write about him.
I disagree.
It's a living document.
So it's a long, maybe you want something to drink. You might even want to go in the middle of it. Jolene would like to read this. And thanks, Mom and Dad, for having this day. Woo-hoo.
I was going to say thank you for everything that's gone on today. It's been a pleasure for Mom and I to spend 70 years together.
Felt like
You can't count the wind chill. You can't count the wind chill factor, Dad. It's only 60.
It seems like 70, doesn't it?
Maybe it's not quite 70. Whatever it is, it's been a damn good bunch of years.
You gonna read shifts?
Yes, Act 1 and Act 2.
Is there an intermission?
Yeah. There can be.
So what after you? Is there a juggling?
Star.
Act 2 is the new.
So this, yes, that's written 20 years ago, and then Act 2 was added. So, Ballad of Pam and Ernie.
Nope. Sit, Georgie. That.
After several postponements to repair a damaged best man, they set the date March 7th, 53, to include Pam in the Cook clan. That's a perfect day, proclaimed Shenda. Grandpa Howard said it stunk. Getting hitched the day of his birthday would cheat him out of a drunk. 'Twas a fine traditional wedding, proper decorum adhered to most. Wed in front of two fine fathers, someone's son, and pocket flask toast. Grandma hosted a grand reception in the basement of her home. Ample refreshments they had supplied, but the place had only one throne. When the clock finally struck midnight, neighbors hoped the riot would cease, but now it was Ernie's parents' 37th, and the party took on a new leaf. They had a real nice honeymoon, California and Washington, and then the dirty bugger moved her up to Edmonton. November 53 came the siblings' leader, future doctor of the clan. With sire so many children, a wedding he had to plan. How he started out quite innocent, a baby beauty contest he won. Grandpa Charlie said he wouldn't have if he had his diaper on. 55 in May, a memorable day. To another male child, Pam gave birth. Headlines in Edmonton Journal read, blackest day on earth. Well, this got dear old father a little down in the mouth, so he packed up all his belongings and headed back down south. Kinfolk welcomed this relocation. The drive north was such a bother, but their lifestyle hadn't changed. She gave birth to her son's new brother. This September's birth in 57, labor pains made Pam quite dizzy. Maybe that's why he turned out just a little bit busy. Howard is an example of fine breeding. Bruce proves he's got it mastered. Stated Grandpa Fred watching Little Jim, then that one must be a bastard. Our little English Grandma Vi, full of old country wisdom and grace, said we have too many males running around this place. It's time to change the pattern. The old one just won't do. We should have given that one up after having the first two. This got young Ernie thinking a feat itself, to be sure. Boys, boys, this woman keeps bearing, something he could no longer endure. Yes, Pam must need an adjustment. A mechanic must use his wit. New oil, filters, lube jobs, plugs, points, and a brand new carb kit. Ernest's dear old mother Irene, a pioneer of sorts, said you must mix whiskey with mating, a minimum of 2 quarts. In the midst of the holiday season, gifts, Fred and Charlie slurred it didn't matter, we better drink another toast. Pam made a proclamation on New Year's Eve, 1958. If Ernie was to sire more children, he'd best get another maid. When making such resolutions, you must force Ernie to hear, and never Pam on New Year's Eve when he's drank whiskey, rum, and beer. The denouncement of Pam's proclamation, born 1960 on March 1, turned out little baby Bear was the last shot in his gun. Uncle Albert suggested birth control. Yes, Ernie, it's called a farm. You get yourself a milking cow on her express your charm. The GE cook took up residence on what's known as the Martin Place, but with all the family commotion, neighbors wish they'd chosen outer space. No one can ever say that cooks can't take a hint, so into Nanton proper they moved, and the townfolk did a 2-year stint. In 2 short years, the townfolk had all they could stand, and strongly suggested to Ernie that he go off to a faraway land. So Ernie went hunting in BC. He took a long look. They snuck into the Okanagan. They'd never heard of the Missouri cook. Ernest and Pam have never moved for 21 years at least, but only on the agreement that their children go back east. March 7th of 93 marked 40 years of life together. 5 kids, 13 grandchildren. They've seen their share of weather. We're all here now to celebrate. Some say it is to mourn. Let's face it, they're responsible for so many cooks since born. But let's let bygones be bygones and raise and drain our glasses. Pam and Ernie stuck it out together and raised their own horses' asses. So cheers, that was Act 1.
That was...
Okay. 20 years later, the composer of this ballad had gotten lazy, as you can read, never added any verses for the 50th of 2003. Time to catch up with this cook clan to see what's been going on, because it seems to me they've finally left BC and headed back to Nanton town. Since the Ballad of Pam and Ernie was written 20 years in the past, they claimed in late 93 and 96 2 more grandchildren as their last. Through a tragic picnic accident, tiny Kira was torn from us too soon. She's watching over all of us in a full swing upon her lovely crescent moon. From the 40th to the 50th, the grandkids visited summer and winter. As much fun was had at G&G's house, going through lots of raisin bread and butter. Carrying on from the 50th to the 60th, boy howdy has the family grown. Some grandkids getting married and having children of their own. They've surely heard tall tales about their ancestors' tricks, which is why they aren't afraid to bring outlaws into our mix. With motivational goals in mind, Chris can be seen on his lecture tour. He travels worldwide seeking adventure, knowing he can with a great sense of humor. U.S. soldier Philip Thompson captures the sweetheart of Caroline. Add in 2 little troopers, Riley and Lee. I think with boys, wherever she'll dine. Jasmine dug out of a programming basement, bespectacled computer whiz Kieran Ritchie, who proved his fertility siring 1 young son, then twin pink and blue bombshells to make 3. Tyrell chose the electrical trade. He must refer to those code books. Seems he'll be able to choose a job almost anywhere he looks. We're not sure what Brendan gets up to when to the university he goes. With his scientific personality, what happens, no layman knows. Little Bob, we hate to tell how you managed to lasso yourself a beautiful Australian belle. Your happiness with Georgie is visible to see with this new Jolly Rancher. Soon you will be free.
Thanks. Thanks, Jim.
From down under into Nanton did Brindy's David stroll to woo her, then move down to the South Pole, near the South Pole. Their son Wyatt, as the sibling on the way, looks upside down in Nanton town, going on patrol. Jolene headed down to the East Coast in Dow. Now she's living in Toronto on the 19th floor, learning the ropes of financial marketing, hanging with friends, and watching the Blue Jays score. Ryan, just like his grandpa Cook, didn't waste time on school books. Good old honest labor is worthy of praise, with callous hands at the end of the days. Boyd moved up to Old Cowtown with some surveying under his belt. He's in and out of the oil patch now with the job that he's been dealt. Charlie's working towards his electrical ticket. To job sites in his new truck he goes. three sisters nicknamed Charlie's Angels keep this kid on his toes. Katie studies the movement of muscles, joints, and bones, very aware through recent soccer pain that they don't work on their own. Lori's chasing future dreams through her cross-country running. When she finishes up with high school, the future will be revealing. Now you've got the scoop on what's been going on, you know, with all those rowdy offspring from that wedding 60 years ago. We've had so many wonderful times, memories endured throughout the years. To this we owe Pam and Ernie a standing ovation. Cheers!